What's good, everyone? Aggie Coach here. Alright guys, so welcome to video number 7. Video number 7. So this will be the last installment in FAT8 football general gameplay. Okay, FAT8 football general gameplay. This is the last video. This video is going to cover the punting game, the field goal game, and extra points. And that is it. After that, you guys will have general gameplay for FAT8 football. You can now start your own FAT8 conference chapters, and let's get going. Now, I have started receiving some requests for the FAT8 Dynasty rule system, which covers solitaire play, and it covers all of our specialized rules like home field advantage, the momentum swings, player morale, the rules for athletic directors, coaches, friends of the program, all of that kind of stuff, that specialized stuff. Those things just add so much atmosphere and so much authenticity to the college environment. That kind of stuff is really specialized. That I call the FAT8 Dynasty rule system. That is for solitaire play. The rules that I have been going over is general gameplay, which we will be utilizing when we start our FAT8 tournament circuit, which we will have, and we are also planning an event. Is going to be an annual convention for all the FAT8 chapters around the country. It's going to be an annual convention that's going to cover everything electric football, and that convention is going to be called Football Fest, right? We'll get around to that in future talks, right? For now, let's go ahead and get into the punting procedure. So, as with our normal rules, you set your offense up. Here, as you can see, UCLA is set up to punt the ball, and Boise State is set to receive the ball. Now, you watch video number 6. If you haven't watched it, go back to video number 6, because the rules for returning punts is the same as the rules for returners returning the ball during kickoff. That the rules are the same. They're not different. So if you guys have not watched video number 6, you need to go back to video number 6 to get a refresher on kickoff procedures, because the rules is the same. Okay, the only exception here is that UCLA, the offensive person, the team that's punting the ball, has to hold the trigger down for 2 seconds, 1 1000, 2 1000, then release the trigger, right? That will stop the board. That shows the time that it takes the ball to travel from the center to the punter, right? Which genuinely takes just over a second and a half to 2 seconds, which gives the defense time to blitz, right? Now, one thing I want to point out, your punter needs to be on a stationary base. So as you can see here, all I did was take the dial out the bottom of the base, and I put my punter on a stationary base, right? That is because when you hit the trigger, you don't want your punter running up here into the line, because that does not happen in football, okay? He waits for the ball to get to him after the center hikes it to him, and once he receives it, then he has to take 1-2 steps, and he kicks the ball, okay? So that 2 steps that he has to take, plus the time that it takes the ball to travel from the center to the punter, is the reason that we have that 2-second delay, okay? All right, so we are all set. We're ready to go. Now, this is your option. Your punt returners out here, you also have the option of making them stationary as they wait for the ball to come down. You do the same thing. You put them on stationary bases, and then you wait. For the sake of this video, I'm not doing that just because it takes too much time, and I want to just kind of get things moving here. So I'm gonna for now I'm gonna go ahead, but I'm just letting you guys know when we get to advanced gameplay, which will be the next 2 or 3 videos, we'll be talking about advanced gameplay in the running game, in the passing game, all of that kind of stuff, then we will cover these rules in more detail. Okay, so we're all set. So we're gonna do our 2 seconds. So, all right, so that's our 2 seconds. Now we are ready to punt the ball. So now all you do, Boise State did not get a good blitz. All you do now is you replace your kicker with your kicking figure. You kick the ball. There we go. And that's our kick. Now, this was the reason that it was probably a good idea. It was probably a good idea to put the punt returners, and I'm gonna encourage you guys to do this. It's a good idea to put your punt returners on stationary bases. Because I didn't do that, as you can see, the punt returners have a long way to go. They have a long way to go at this stage to go and get that ball. And remember, punt returners and kick returners have the option, have a 5-yard bubble around them. So if that ball had dropped on the board within 5 yards of them, then they would have, you could have counted that as a catch, and they could return it where the ball dropped, right? As kick returners do adjust to what they're seeing. Okay, so at this stage, the kick returners now have to go to the ball. You're also free to adjust, pivot, or angle anyone who is not engaged. That includes the kick return team and the punting team, okay? So what we're gonna do next is I am going to adjust these guys so that they can go after the ball. Okay, you can get your blockers in position as well. So you can turn your blockers here. Once the ball goes up in the air, everybody's going after the ball. There's a lot of congestion right here, which we can't do anything about. But you're going to get the chance to adjust one more time as the guys get the ball. Of course, you want to make your punter no longer stationary so he can go down the field and try to make a play also. Sometimes you'll see this in football. It really depends on the team. Sometimes the punters or the kickers kind of hang back while the rest of the team goes down to play as the safety net, just in case the guy breaks through the line, and then he can be the last line of the defense. That's completely up to you guys. All right, so let's go get the ball. Okay, so you make your adjustments until someone gets the ball. Set up your blocking. Everybody goes and pursues the ball. Everybody who is not engaged, except people that have gone out of bounds. But everybody who's not engaged can go. All right. So Jonas Harrington picks up the ball. So he picks up the ball at the 7-yard line. So now you turn him up. Okay. You set up your blocking. Okay. Defense sets its pursuit. Remember, don't do any blocking in the back. If you have a player, like for example, this player right here, number 96, he doesn't have anyone to block, right? Because this defender right here has his back turned, and you can't block him in the back. So at this stage, you pretty much have to just kind of turn him in a direction and just hope that things works out. This guy right here actually is not engaged. So actually, yeah, he can block him. So he can block there. He's not engaged, so we can turn him. That's pretty much it, right? So now you do your return. Now remember, you have the rule for kick returns, right? As he approaches the 20-yard line, he's allowed to make a juke move, right? So once he gets to the 20-yard line, if you like, you have the option of stopping. But remember, if the ball had dropped up here and not back here beyond the 20, you have to just run the board. Okay, so let's see what happens. Okay, now you want to make a juke move right here, even though it's not going to matter, right? He is going to get tackled. There is no way around this. If I try to have him cut back in any direction at this stage, it really is not going to matter. But this kind of gives you the reason that an understanding of why the juke move is put in place. That shows the intelligence of the returner, right? Like, he's not going to just run into the defender. He's going to try to get around them. So in this case, let's see what happens. So I'm going to have him try and, well, that's a bad idea, as you can see. He's going to have to just take the tackle here. There's no way to get away from this defender. So he's going to just get taken down. The ball will be spotted right there. Doing a juke move was futile at that stage. It was just not going to work. And that's great pursuit by UCLA's punting team. That was just great coverage. And that happens in football, you know. It happens. You have a returner that might be pretty good, but sometimes that's just the way that it goes. When a team have good coverage, you know, that's the end of it. You can't beat them all. So that is that. So that is the punting procedure. So I'm gonna stop here so we can shift over to kicking field goals. Okay, so on to the field goal procedure. So as generally with football, you set up your field goal block team if you're going to block the ball, and you set up your field goal team as I've done here. Now, the placeholder has to be at 7 yards from the line of scrimmage, and you need to put him on a stationary base as well. So in this case, our placeholder here is 7 yards off the line of scrimmage, and he's on a stationary base because he just waits to catch the ball, to hold the ball for the kicker. Now your kicker has to be 11 yards off the ball. So the line of scrimmage is here, so that's 5, 10, 11, right? 11 yards off the ball, okay? Now, the way this procedure works, when you pull the trigger, he runs up in line with the placeholder. When he gets here, right? When he gets here, then you replace him with your kicking figure and you kick the ball. Okay? This is the same thing for doing extra points. So I'm only going to cover this once. And then we are pretty much done. We're pretty much set and ready to go. Then you guys can start playing. Okay? If you decide that you want to go for a 2-point conversion, for example, you follow the same procedure that we went over in our previous videos for running and passing the ball. Okay? Very, very easy. All right, so let's kick our field goal. Right? So we're going to just have our kicker run up. There we go. Right? Now, here you replace your kicker with the figure that's going to be doing the kicking for you. In this case, I'm going to take him off the board and I'm going to put my kicker here where he's standing. Okay? Now, all we want to do, let me make sure that my field goal post is straight. There we go. Now, the goal is for you to kick the ball through the field goal post, right? I'm going to switch sides here so I can get a better view. All right. Uh-oh. Sorry about that, guys. That was blocked. So I don't know if you guys can see. I may have to move the camera. There is a defensive tackle here, and he's got his hands up. That figure is from Reginald Rutledge. He's really good. He blocked it again. He's really good at blocking field goals. I'm going to show you guys this figure. This one. This is Reginald Rutledge's figure. He's really good at blocking field goals. If you put him in the defensive tackle position, right here, because of where he is, if you don't get that ball high enough, he will block it. And so far, he's blocked 2. Let's see if I can't beat him. There we go. And that one was good. You got to get that ball up, right? Now, this takes some practice. That was a really good kick. The first 2 were horrible. And that happens, you know, in game. That figure is really, really good at blocking field goals. Let's try it one more time. Okay, that was short. Right? So, takes a little practice. You just have to work at it. That is one of the fun aspects of this hobby. Learning how to work with kickers, learning how to pass the ball, being willing to take the time, put that time in so that you can do it. It takes some practice, some getting used to. Right? It takes some time, but you can do it if you stick at it and keep practicing, right? So, I'm going to stop it here. 2 block field goals, 1 successful field goal, 2 field goals short, right? So you got to learn your range. As a general rule for college football, these guys are not professionals. You got to remember, these are kids in college. You're not going to have any field goals in college being kicked 65 yards, 66 yards. Like, you hardly see that in the pros, right? So we have a rule in the FAT8 conference. No field goals beyond 63 yards. That's our rule. No field goals beyond 63 yards, right? Because it just does not happen, right? So you keep your field goals within from the goal line to about the 40-yard line, and that's, you know, that's about it, right? So that's it, man. You know your figures. If you know your figure can't reach that, then you might want to go for it on 4th down instead of trying to kick that field goal. At this stage, we're looking at about 46 yards for a field goal. That's long. You know, at the 20-yard line, I'm good. Once you get 30-yard line, 35, 40-yard line, you might want to start thinking about going for it on 4th down if you have to. But you know, that's the pageantry and, you know, intrigue about college football. Sometimes you get it, sometimes you don't. All right, so that's it, man. General gameplay completed. So you guys have at it. Start those FAT8 chapters, man. Start those FAT8 leagues. And again, you guys that want to do solitaire, if you are doing solitaire and you want the dynasty rules, holla at me. All right, don't forget, comment, like, and subscribe. Peace.